Hello, and welcome back to True Blue Live. My name is Erica, and I will be your host for today. I'll be talking to many teams producing content for the True Blue studio about what they've been making, how they've made it, and all of the entertaining stories that they've encountered along the way, and what they might have to share. My first guests are the minds behind the Fishbowl Experiment, Max and Riley.
Hi there.
Anytime. So, you've touched on it a little bit before on our last live show, but now that you've really begun the process of creating this Fishbowl Experiment, what can you tell us about it? What should audiences look for behind what you've made?
Yeah, I think it just really centers around like human interest, as we said before, of just like, learning what you may not from a stranger, like a conversation you wouldn't have with somebody that you just pass by, So I think that's really cool about what we've made, and it's been really fun when we have recorded to like just have those experiences with people, and they really buy in.
Yeah, I think it was fun on recording day especially to just talk to these people of which we've never seen before, and just all the funny stories that they've had to tell and just their life experiences. I think it's something that it's a type of content that I think has kind of dwindled away from, and so we're very excited to bring it back a little bit. So, yeah.
Bring it on back.
Exactly.
I like that, yeah. So, since this was done out in public in an uncontrolled space, do you have any good stories from the recording process? Anything go wrong? Have any freaky guests?
Well, we didn't have any freaky guests, unfortunately, so that would have made for great content, though. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it was actually just a lot of silence, gonna be honest with you. We were in a hallway on a college campus, mm-hmm. and the tables that I was sitting at operating the camera and then Max was at interviewing the guests and everything, it was, just far enough away where we couldn't, not yell if we wanted to talk to each other, so we just had a lot of pantomimed conversations, and this one has just a lot of monologues into the mic that the editor, it was very fun to listen to while editing.
There was a lot of spare time. Yeah, we were there for at least 3 hours, I think, and we, you see in the episode we had 3 different conversations. I think there was just one that didn't get used, so mm-hmm. we had 4 conversations in total, so no crazy guests, but just not a lot of guests.
Okay, well, if you guys are ever too bored, give me a little Slack
Will
message.
do.
I might run on over. So the theme of your first episode was being true to yourself. What was the inspiration behind that topic?
Yeah, just true blue, wanting to be true to yourself. That's kind of our whole goal here, and just authenticity. I think that's what inspired that.
Yeah.
Well, that is absolutely wonderful. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. The first episode of the Fishbowl Experiment is out now on our YouTube channel. But before you go and watch that, I'm going to be talking to my very own co-host from the Almost Socially Irrelevant podcast, Miss Maggie. Get on out here, girl.
Stop the applause, you guys. I know. It's fantastic.
Almost Socially Irrelevant is a podcast co-produced by Maggie and myself. Each week we look at the hottest goss in pop culture. Maggie, welcome on. And might I just say, I missed you, Mama.
Oh my God, I missed you so much. We saw each other literally 5 minutes before we started filming. But that's a long time, honestly, to not be with Erica. So
see? Me, my baby girl. So if you haven't seen our first episode, we dove into Return of the Freak and what that means. And with all of that comes a ton of research. Maggie?
Oh my gosh. So yeah, the whole research process when it comes to looking at stuff for podcasts, obviously our podcast is pop media. So pop media is always changing, constantly, all the time. Mm-hmm. And so it's very easy to get stuff. Also at the same time, Return to the Freak, we kind of had a deep dive into we were talking about Tate McRae and her song Purple Lace Bra, and kind of how that kind of sound like Diet Pepsi, and then how it's kind of like Diet Pepsi's older sister. And then we kind of talked about how Diet Pepsi is kind of more of a
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga-esque, I want to say Britney but it's like that type
Yeah.
of like pop music that's kind of like coming back again. I mean, like Lady Gaga's made a major return with her brand new album Mayhem, which might I say, fantastic album.
Yeah.
A little bit of like there's a song on there that kind of sounded like a Taylor Swift song, which made me go, okay, not nacho reheat, nacho.
Reheat.
We said that I think on our podcast
On our
too.
on our first episode.
But we discussed a lot of like, you know, just kind of like how that type of pop music is coming back again, which is honestly fantastic in my opinion.
it's great for us.
It is great for us. And then also we cover a lot of like the Grammys and just like the Oscars, red carpet looks, just like our own takes on pop culture, which is really fun.
Absolutely. So, mentioning that first episode, funny story, we actually had to reshoot it.
What? Crazy. So pretty much, yeah, we had to reshoot our first episode, and we shot it originally in this really tiny room that was kind of like, I don't really even know how to describe it, but long table. We were sitting at the end of it. The chairs we were sitting in were like the same height as the table. Like I'd shift in my chair, like the ever so slightest, and it would squeak. Like it was a very tiny room to work with, and then we ended up reshooting it. And I have to say, our set now is 10 out of 10. Not that I'm biased or anything, but I think it just like was, I'm honestly kind of happy we had to reshoot it. And also we had like, once again, going back to kind of like the research thing we talked about earlier, we had to kind of like change the whole plot of the episode, I guess, because I mean, pop media is always changing like we've been saying. So we had to kind of like figure out, okay, well, what's going on this week that we can talk about in like this certain amount of time. So, but honestly, I was very happy with how it turned out, and Return of the Freak episode 1, you should go watch it.
It's out now.
Not to self-promote or anything, but
Yeah, so after we got that over that initial hump, we had a few little issues. However, I feel like we're definitely starting to get on a roll, starting to find our footing.
I'd agree. Honestly, I was like, yeah, a lot of just like figuring out, okay, how are we going to place the cameras? How are we going to have microphones? How are we going to like set design? Because I mean, it's like a video podcast, so obviously we want everything to look fantastic for everybody. So I have to stop saying fantastic because
But it's so fun.
but it's fantastic.
It is, girl.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, honestly, like the whole like process of like getting the podcast together too, like Erica and I pitched our ideas. We hadn't discussed it before, and our idea was basically the same, and then we're like, wait, we should collab on this. And that's kind of how almost socially irrelevant kind of came to be. And it's like our baby, and I'm honestly just like, I love it so much.
Me too.
It's just like, I don't know, we have so many like fun things that
Yeah.
we want to do for you guys that are just like coming up in general. So honestly, I'm just very excited.
We've also added on some new team members, which has made the entire process so much easier.
Shout out to the cast and crew and our managers.
We love
We're
you.
looking at you guys right now. Love you guys so much.
You guys make it so easy. Well,
So easy.
thank you, Maggie, for joining me. I miss you already. Now, please welcome my friends Asha and Emma, who are members of Creative Spaces, our live show, and our live show team. If you're not familiar, Creative Spaces ventures out to the cool spots in Des Moines and interviews the raddest local bands. In the first episode, they actually headed over to Cafe Chai and interviewed Monk Rivers, a yearncore indie band. Emma, Asha, it's so nice to see you two again.
It's nice to see you too. I'm super excited to talk about our experiences.
Yeah, happy to be here.
I love seeing you. First up, I want to talk about Creative Spaces. We heard a little bit about it during our first live show stream, which you hosted, Emma. But Asha, can you tell me a little bit more about your debut episode specifically?
Yeah, so we went to Cafe Chai. It's a local Indian cafe. It is relatively new. It's where the old subway was. And it's owned by Jaswinder Kaur and Parminder Singh. And yeah, we decided to interview Monk Rivers there, like you said, a local yearncore indie band. And we had a great discussion about just like the meaning of being a local band and the ecosystem of local music, as well as obviously the definition of yearncore. And yeah, I think it was a really great experience.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to hear that. I heard that you guys had a few technical issues during the first and second shoot of the episode, which trust, I've had those too. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so during the first shoot, I was actually in charge of camera. I was not meant to be host or director of the shoot. So we had issues with our batteries. I think we had 2 or 3 batteries, and they were all either 0 or 3%. So we just kept trying to relay race them to the charger. And as for the second shoot, we were just having issues with the camera itself. So we decided to just shoot with phones just to make it all simpler. And I think despite all that, everything went well because we got help from Dylan and Kate
Shout
from
out.
Blue Shorts and Almost Socially Relevant. So they were great help. And I think overall it went as smoothly as it could.
Wonderful. I know battery issues make me want to actually tear out all of my hair,
Yes.
bang my head against the table. But despite these challenges that the Creative Spaces team faced, they put together a absolutely beautiful video in the end. And go ahead and check out their episode with Monk Rivers at Cafe Chai on our YouTube channel. Now, another thing that you two have been working on is the True Blue Studio Live. As I said earlier, Emma, you hosted our last live show, Bluelyweds. Would you want to tell me a little bit more about the production behind that?
Absolutely. So Bluelyweds, we were inspired by obviously the Newlyweds game show, and with the team we have here, we all just wanted to get to know each other a little bit better, and the content teams we're working with were like, you know what, let's put our relationships to the test, let's see how much we know about each other. So Asha came up with a great list of questions for everybody, and we got together on shoot day, got together on the set, and had a lot of fun. I think I really think it all like brought us like closer. Even that might sound a little cheesy, but like I think these like game show live shows are a great way for all of us to have some like camaraderie and have some fun with each other. So I'm really happy with how it went.
Awesome, yeah. I love bonding. I love bonding so much.
I love bonding with you, Erica.
I love bonding with you, Emma, and you, Asha.
I love bonding with you, Asha.
Quick,
Yes.
though, did anything go wrong on set?
Oh, yeah.
Something with points or anything to do with batteries?
What? Okay, no battery issues.
Okay.
Bless. But we did have some issues with the scoring. I will say that's on me because I decided last minute to assign some half points because there were answers that were like, you know what? You're almost there, but you're not quite there. So I wanted to, give credit where credit is due. And our scorekeeper, Riley, was like, whoa, half points? What are we doing? So that messed up Riley a little bit, and the score got off. So unfortunately, ASI did not move on to the next round like they were supposed to. So sorry, guys. But moving on from that, we also had an issue, or I had an issue, where I actually kept hitting my mic cord on the table. I was sitting at a table, and I was just getting a little excited, moving around a lot, and you could hear every single time it hit. It was like boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, okay, I need to not do that next time.
Yeah.
Also some wardrobe, not malfunctions, but definitely some creativity with the wardrobe. I came in with like a gray, light bluish top, and it's the same color as that background. So I had to wear Erica's shirt. But in the end, it looked cute. So I'm glad it
It was a great
worked out
color
that
on
way.
you.
Oh, thank you.
So the Bluelyweds game is now available to watch on our channel. Well, YouTube, it was so great to have you on. And then, really quickly, can you tell the audience about what you have going on for your future endeavors?
Oh my gosh. Well, as far as the live show goes, our next game show we have planned is called Blue Tiles. So it's kind of a play on Jeopardy, but in a way where it relates to True Blue Studio. So our team member, Malin, is working on that, and I'm super excited to see how that goes. We've got some categories. We've brainstormed some categories and some questions, and yeah, you can stay tuned for that show.
All right, well, that is wonderful. Thank you, Asha.
Thank
you,
you.
Emma. We have 2 more guests left, and I'm so excited to hear what stories that they've got for us. As we change our guests, I'd like to remind you that you can view and find all of our amazing, great content that we've been talking about right here on our YouTube channel, True Blue Studio. My final guests joining me today are the members from the Blue Shorts Comedy Short Stories group. They're fittingly named too. Blue Shorts. Ryan and Patty. Welcome on.
Hi, Erica. Thank you for having us on.
What up?
What up?
Yeah, that's all I got.
So true. Well, that's wonderful. So you guys have recently released your first piece of content, 5 tips for surviving a horror movie. I thought it was great. What inspiration was behind this, guys?
Okay, so currently I was taking a gender and horror class, and basically we just needed to watch a lot of horror movies, specifically like the classics. And while watching these movies, it always frustrates me to think about all the like dummy mistakes that they make. Obvious things that, you know, you look at the screen and you're yelling at the character being like, don't go in that house, you know, don't go into a stranger's house. That might not be a good sign. So we decided to kind of do a parody about it and, you know, take that and give tips on how to survive horror movies.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. I've asked every group so far, so it's only fair that I asked you two as well. Do you have any good stories from the recording process? Maybe something about an abandoned house you encountered?
Yeah, so after the shoot one day, we had to get a couple extra clips. And, you know, Dylan led me to what I thought was an abandoned house. It looked abandoned. It turns out we might have been trespassing a little bit. Not entirely sure on that, because a car did pull around that was in their parking lot, and they did stare at us for a bit. So we drove away. I think that solved the problem pretty well. But, I mean, that's probably the goofiest thing that happened besides, I don't know, just general shooting mishaps.
Okay.
But it went pretty smooth.
All right, very smoothly, despite trespassing.
Potential trespassing.
Potential
We were on the boundary lines. I don't know.
Okay, wonderful. So how have you guys come together as a group over the last few weeks? Our audience hasn't seen it, but tell us a little bit of the story of how you guys have decided to work together and get to this point of creating these shorts.
Yeah, of course. So something that's a little bit different about Blue Shorts compared to other groups making content is that we don't have a set idea every week. We don't have something that we follow. There's no like guidelines or anything. Every week we're trying to come up with something different, something new, something funky and fresh. And so the way that we come up together is me and my team, we have meetings where we just kind of pitch all these random ideas, and then together we work to develop certain specific ideas that we liked or that each one of us mentioned. And basically it's like a group hangout where we're just telling each other what we would like to work on next, and from there we decide which one we all like the best and start working on that. We designate roles to each other, and that kind of just allows us to get the ball rolling and work a little bit smoother because everybody knows what they're in charge of doing.
Well, I know that I'm feeling some intense FOMO because I'd love to hang out with you too. And before I let you guys go, can you give us any hints as to what you have planned for us next?
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, actually, I'm not going to let you know because something about Blue Shorts is because we have new content coming in, you know, every episode, we want to keep our audience on our toes. We want to surprise the audience and we want to keep people engaged. So you're just going to have to check us out to find out.
I guess I can wait with everybody else. Not like we're friends or anything. Well, I want to thank you two so much for speaking with me today, and thanks to all of us who have watched the episodes of the True Blue Live. I have so many exciting things coming up, so stay tuned.